move on to our special event this evening, so I'll welcome up Marty Martinez, who is the Senior Project Coordinator at the Veterans Services Center.
Thank you. Hello, nice to be with you all tonight. I'm the Director of the Veterans Services Center, which is located right upstairs on the third floor of the Student Union. I wanted to visit with you just about a couple matters. First of all, to tell you a little bit about our program, who we serve, and what we're trying to do for our student veterans here at the University of Wyoming. Second, I want to talk to you about some legislation that will be coming before you very soon, I believe tonight, but we'll visit with that a little bit later on. So I want to talk to you a little bit about military culture. What is a military student, veteran student, military family member here at the University of Wyoming? We lumped that into the word veteran. Typically, veteran means somebody who has left the military, but it's a very understood word, very click to the military culture, so we wanted to keep that, but we wanted to expand the definition to include our family members as well as those still in the service. When I came here in 2012, we started looking at how we were addressing our military students, and we found out we were missing everybody. So they didn't even know how many military or veteran students we had at the University of Wyoming. In 2009, Sarah Axelson, then Vice President for Student Affairs, decided she wanted to see what were the needs, the challenges, and successes of our military students on campus. When they looked at that, they identified 300 students. Within a year after I got here, we changed the verbiage a little bit. We talked about how when you say veteran, those in the military are not going to respond because they are not yet out of service. If you said, are you military? Then those that left service are no longer a military member and would not respond to that either. So we had to do a little bit of educating with people coming into the university as well as those already here, and we suddenly rose our ranks to 700 in about a year and a half. That's the difference a word makes, especially to our military culture. So in talking about military, I have a comment here. It says, for most people, their job is what they do. In the military, it more deeply defines who they are. I served 29 years in the military, and whenever I received a new soldier into my unit, my section, my team, all I needed to know were three things: their rank, their MOS, what job do they do, and what unit are they coming from. That told me everything I needed to know about that individual. I knew exactly how much experience they had, how many years they'd been in the military. I knew what courses, classes, and education they had. I knew what training they had. And by telling me what unit, I could probably tell how many deployments they had as well. That was everything I needed to know. For a military member, especially myself, I joined right out of high school, had one semester of college, and in my second, I realized I was broke and had no beer money, and that changed the course of my life. That's when I decided to join the military and do something different. I thought I would be in for 4 years, getting some education benefits and leave. I was there for 29. I didn't want to leave when I did. My body had broken down, I was in a lot of pain, it was affecting me mentally, and it was time for me to go. It was just my time. But I was not prepared for that moment. When I retired from the military, my wife drove me home here to Laramie, and I walked into my bedroom, and I took my uniform off, and I held my shirt in my hands, and I cried. I cried because I was leaving something that I'd known for my entire life. Every friend I had, every person I knew, every commitment I made, everything about me, I was leaving. And I was entering something completely different, because 12 days later, I would walk onto this campus as the director of the Veterans Program here. Scariest day of my life. Everything that I knew about those three things was gone. Everything you needed to know about me was my uniform. As soon as you saw it, you knew I was a soldier, and you knew there was something about me as a soldier that was different. And I took that off forever. I walked onto this campus in a suit, and I realized I looked just like every other person. That's a little bit of what our veterans feel like, our military members, when they leave service after 1, 2, 3, 4, 29 years, and they walk onto this campus with you as their peers. They realize I've left everything behind that I believed in for the last however long years of my life. The military changes us, and it changes the way we think and the way we look at life. Most of that because of life experience we have in the military. My average age veteran coming to us right out of the active duty military is 26 years old. And if they've never been to college, and many of them have not, they get put into a freshman level class and they say, here's your peer group. They are not their peer group. Most 26-year-olds on this campus are not their peer group. Most professors, staff, whoever they might be, administration, are not going to be their peer group. Their peers are the other veterans who have a life-like experience. That basically sums up the entire mission of the Veterans Center. To create the connection and the opportunity to connect veterans together, to find that commonality, to find that community. And without it, it's a struggle. It's a struggle to fit in sometimes. It's a struggle to look like everybody else when you feel so different on the inside. You've probably seen many of my students at 26 years old, maybe in your freshman class, sitting in the back room with giant beards. They were always so easy for me to pick out when I got here. I got here right at the end of the spring semester, so when we started fall, that was my first real semester on campus. And so I went out to Prexy's and I just stood out there and said, let me see if I can figure out who the veterans are. They were real easy to pick out the new veterans because they got these giant backpacks on. They're still wearing their combat boots. They got these little tiny hats with the ball cap just scrunched down this big. And they're standing out in the middle of Prexy's pasture with a map. Because I know, like, we're the only ones that can read a map anymore. And they got this map and they're oriented to the building so they can figure out where they're going to. And I tell my guys, my staff, like, there's one, go get him, Premier. We are a little bit different. And it takes us a while to find that comfort, that confidence, to really exist amongst a group of people that we have not been in contact with for quite some time. So community building, making them comfortable in a social gathering, is a big part of what we try to do at the Veterans Center, through education, through awareness training, through different opportunities, not just with our students, but also with faculty and staff to teach them what it's like to work with veterans and the best success in working with veterans with best practices that we know across the country that work quite well on a college campus. At the same time, I do a lot of advocacy. We also have National Guard soldiers who are here as well. Right now, don't know if you realize this, let's see, they left in July. And we deployed the largest deployment from the state of Wyoming, Army National Guard deployment in the history of the state of Wyoming. And a good number of those soldiers were men and women going to school right here at UW. And they had to leave college because in the Army, when you deploy, it's for 1 year. 1 year. So they had to leave college, drop an entire year behind their peer group. And whatever that year has for them, they have to come back and re-engage college again when they return. That's a struggle. And so we help them to understand how to do that. We help the school to understand how to make better policies to allow them to do that so it doesn't hurt their academic career when they come back or when they leave. We obviously do a lot of resource connection for our veterans who have disabilities. I'm rated 90% disability. Doesn't make me disabled. I'd outrun you, I'd out-wrestle you, whatever I got to do to prove to you I'm not disabled. You might have to pick me up off the ground because I won't be able to move much after that. But I am not disabled. I have limitations that I have to learn how to live with. Now for me, that's kind of expected. I'm 55 and I went 29 years in the military. There are 19, 20, 21, 22-year-olds that are 90% rated disability on this college campus today. And that individual has to figure out how to live the rest of their life not being the person they were in high school physically. How to readjust themselves. Some of those injuries are the unseen type. PTS, TBI, a lot of different stress and anxiety issues that go along with those things, and also military life. So we do a lot of resource connection for those individuals. A lot of opportunity to work with them and say, hey man, I made it and you can make it too. Together we can assist each other and we can help each other and help all of our brothers and sisters to make it on this campus. That's what we do at the Veterans Center. I can't put it any more plainly than that. But I have to say this. I grew up in Wyoming. I went to a community college, so I never been on this campus until I walked on to take this job. And I get phone calls from people all across the country, veterans who are coming here. Obviously our college prices, right, our tuition is a big draw for people all across the country. And they'll ask me, hey Marty, so what's it like there? And they're not asking about the weather. They're asking about the climate on campus. Because a lot of them around the country are afraid to raise their hand and say, I served my country in uniform. A lot of them are afraid to put their hand up and expose themselves to the rest of the class by saying, I'm a veteran. That's all. Come to Wyoming, brother, you're going to love it. Come to Wyoming, sister, because this is the best place you can be a veteran. We sell this place by saying it's wide open spaces and not many faces. And man, that connects. But let me tell you what really makes this campus great. And that's the reception they get from all of you. A veteran on this campus knows they're different. And all they want to be identified as is a student. They just want to get through. They enjoy their time with you, even if they don't have time for you. I'm telling you right now, they enjoy their time here. And they enjoy being a student at the University of Wyoming. And you make their experience great. And I can't emphasize that anymore for this particular body than by what we just did in working with ASUW. Past Senator Greg, I met him through an orientation. I came in, I did this briefing, at that time it was called Freshman Senate, and I met him. He came up and he said, hey, is there something I can do for you? Can we talk to your veterans about what ASUW is? And I'm thinking, oh, this freshman is really fired up. This is cool. All right, yeah. Come down to my orientation and talk to my people. And he and a couple others came, and they did a great presentation. I figured, all right, last time I'll see him. And he came back again, and he did it the next semester, too. And he just kind of hung in there. He kept hanging around, kept talking to me. He finally came back and said, I want to do something for you. What is something that we as an ASUW body can actually do for the veterans at the University of Wyoming? It just so happened an incident just started occurring. When I came here in 2012, we approached the administration and we fought for prior registration for our veterans. Well, we built it like many schools had built it across the country. And we said if a veteran is coming to University of Wyoming and they're utilizing what we call a timed benefit, so it's things like the VA GI Bill, you might have heard of that, and a couple other benefits, which says you have so much time to use all this benefit, and as much school as you can pack into that, we'll pay for it. So it was a timing issue. And so we wanted prior registration for our veterans so that they didn't have to wait that extra semester or 2 semesters just trying to get classes that filled up early, especially if they were sophomores. So we said we want them to be able to get those classes instantly, get as many as they can, and make the full benefit, or take advantage, full advantage of the benefit their service had earned them. And the administration said, perfect, let's do it. Well, it took about 4 years, and we started to see something happen. Now, the object we thought we created was, thank you so much for your service. And because of that, we're going to give you priority registration. What we discovered it really was, not by anyone's fault or intention, was that as our veterans, if any of them got to that bubble where they ran out of their benefit, they used up all their benefits, or they expended that time limit, and their benefits stopped, the university said, okay, well now you don't get priority registration. So it was never about, the optic became, it was never about thank you for your service. It was thank you for the almost $9 million you 450 veterans bring to our community every year. And when you don't, well now you don't get priority registration. We had literally had, the day before Senator Gregg came in to talk to me, literally had a student walk up and say, I just got dropped because I ran out of my GI Bill. So what you're telling me is last semester, I'm a veteran, but this semester, I'm not? No, absolutely not. So working together with the Vice President, Senator Gregg, past Senator Gregg, working with Kyle Moore, who runs enrollment management here at the university, we've been able to work together to formulate a good plan. You'll learn that plan tonight as it comes through for vote, or I think first reading, possibly first reading tonight. And I hope you'll really consider supporting it. And if you have questions, I encourage you, please come talk to me. I'll sit you down with one of my veterans, and we'll talk about this. We'll talk about what that feels like to be told you're not good enough anymore. You don't matter now that your benefits stop. That's not right. The plan now, if this passes and receives the support not just of ASUW, but it really being propelled to administration from the student body of the University of Wyoming to say what we think should happen to honor a veteran's service and to honor the fact that a person like me who is a veteran, that status will never go away for the rest of my life. I will always be a veteran. To say that they will receive priority registration for the entire time they are at the University of Wyoming. Awesome, incredible opportunity for our veteran students. We told a few of them, what do you think about this? Of course, they were excited, but their first question was, who's giving this to us? And I said, the students, ASUW. That Florida. Because they did not expect it to come from them. They really expected that somebody would have to tell the school to do this, like one of our Wyoming legislators. So you have gained a lot of credit just in the opportunity of presenting this bill for us on our behalf. You have gained a lot of opportunity, or a lot of credit and respect from our student veterans. So on behalf of all our veterans at the University of Wyoming, 594 of them, I say thank you for the opportunity to present this bill to you tonight, for the opportunity you may give us to inspire the administration to live up to what the bill asks and to provide priority registration for all of our military, our veterans, and our dependents on veterans. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to take them at this time. If not, you can catch me offline. I'll be upstairs, not tonight, I'm going home, but you can catch me upstairs any other time in the Veterans Center. Any questions?
Any questions for the special event? Senator Rubano?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's not a question. I just wanted to sincerely thank you for your service. It's incredible, 29 years. My brother is still in basic training for the Army, so I know a little bit of just how much that is. And so just sincerely thank you.
Thank you very much. And for anybody in here, I should have started out telling you that your advisor and I served together for a number of years. So that's kind of cool. And it makes you feel really old. But some of my students, I served with their parents too. It's like, oh wow, I've been here way too long. So just want to say thank you very much for that acknowledgement. Thank all of you again for the opportunity to visit with you tonight. Thank you.
So at this time, we will now, Senator Rubano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to suspend the Abernathy clause. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. This motion is not debatable. All those in favor of suspending the Abernathy clause, please rise. Okay, please be seated. All those opposed? And abstentions. With a unanimous vote of 22 to 0 to 0, the Abernathy clause has been suspended. RSO funding board requests. So Senator Mulhall, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to allocate $7,210 to collegiate ministries.
There's a second. The motion's been properly moved and seconded. Senator Mulhall, you have the floor to relay any pertinent information from the funding board.
Thank you. We obviously heard from this group yesterday at funding board, and overall, wasn't really anything hard to discuss, and the committee ended up recommending this event for approval. And so with that, I will just let the representatives from the RSO explain further.
So the event we're putting on is called Rethinking Darwin, and we're going to have, so the conversation will be on creation and evolution primarily, but it's not like a religious thing like saying evolution's all wrong and creation is all right, but it's more of a discussion, presenting evidence, talking about evidence for each side. And so some of the speakers, we have 2 PhDs from ICR, which is Institute of Creation Research, Randy Galuza and Dr. Tim Clary, and they'll be talking about geology and biology and dinosaurs. And then another guy, Dr. John Whitmore, talking about the Grand Canyon and just the age of the Earth and stuff. Yeah, and I guess, so we're expecting hopefully 200 students, and it's open to the public too, so quite a few people.
So I just think this event's really important with freedom of speech on campus and freedom of ideas. I think we can all agree that we're here to learn. So I think it's awesome to have informed debates about both sides of issues. And I think it's going to be a really great conversation starter on campus. And I think it would be very appropriate use of student speech. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for the RSO? Senator Connor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To the RSO, you said that the event was open to the community, right?
Yeah.
So, saying that you're only planning for 200 people altogether, how are you going to ensure that students are allowed first?
That's an excellent question, and that is something that I think that we can use some examples from some other RSOs I've been a part of, and making sure that students get priority seating and reserving a section in the front for students. And I think that that's very important to have mindful. Obviously, if it's like 10 minutes before the event's going to start, we're going to start to allow community members to go into those seats. But that's something that we'll definitely be conscious of, ensuring students get the best seats, as this is being funded out of student money. So thank you for that question.
And I do have another one then. So seeing with some of the events we have had on campus and some of the crowds that do end up coming with those events, my curiosity is, will there be other people there making sure discussion actually stays on track? Sorry. You can finish.
So I just think that we're going to have a job PD there, of course, and I know with events that I've run in the past, I'm currently president of College Republicans and the Pro-Life Club on campus. I do not let my events get out of hand. There's one microphone that goes in the hand of the speaker. Anyone that's being disruptive will have to be asked to move. Obviously, we welcome discussion and debate, and we'll have time for questions and answers. But I think that we have the ability to keep this event under control. I don't think we've seen any mass rioting at events on campus where things have gotten out of control.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions for the RSO? Senator Hoffman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Did you say this has been an annual event, or is this the first time?
This is the first time we're hoping to make it annual.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any more comments or discussion on this funding board request? If there is none, we'll go ahead and take a vote. So all those in favor of approving $7,210 to collegiate ministries, please rise. Please be seated. All those opposed? And abstentions. With a vote of 23 to 0, this funding board request has been approved. Senator Mulhall, will you please move on to our next request?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to allocate $7,570 to
The motion's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion is now open, and Senator Mobley, you have the floor to relay any pertinent information.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. District came to funding board, once, there was a little problem with their outside funding, they came back, and they assured us that, they'll be able to fill in that gap with outside funding, so that was taken care of. And other than that, the committee found the request to be fine and recommended it for approval. So with that, I will yield the floor to the representatives.
Okay, thank you everyone for having us. My name is Bradon.
My name is Matthew.
And we're just going to talk real quick about the 2020 Joint Military Ball. So this is an event held between the Army ROTC and the Air Force ROTC every year. It's an annual event for as long as I can remember for sure. I know it's been going on for decades past. So Matthew's going to start, why this is good for the student body as well as kids.
So to start off, this is a great team building opportunity for not only our two organizations, but for us with the community as well. This is a campus tradition that has been going on. We have not limited this ever to just ROTC cadets and students. This is open to all students on campus. This is also open to faculty members and people from the community as well. This allows the students to kind of interact with us in the ROTC, get to experience a military fine tradition of a great dinner and see how we operate. And this allows the students to be able to not only just see us from wearing our uniforms on Wednesdays on campus, to actually be able to ask us questions, ask us why we do what we do, and be able to become a part of this community with us.
And really it's just a good time just to network and socialize just with fellow members, students and their ROTC, getting to know each other. And our guest speaker every year is usually a general or someone of some higher caliber, something like that, where it's just great for students and cadets alike just to get the mentorship, hear the speech, hear someone who's been in the military, serving the country for 3+ decades, just to hear the wisdom they have to offer. So it's really good for students and cadets alike. And again, just let ROTC and students in general just get to know each other and have a night to interact. So in terms of the funding estimates, I was told everyone should have the budget, but I just want to break it down real quick. So the Army side has about 215 people, the Air Force has about 110, and we're allocating about 50 tickets to the public. So it totals about 365 people at this event that we are expecting. And that's going to be at $27 a plate, so 365 people times 27 is $9,855 for food. And on top of that is $1,000 for the venue at the Conference Center. The remainder of the cost that isn't funded is going to be split between Army and Air Force ROTC. We have an agreement laid out. And besides that, if anyone has any questions,
Any questions for the RSO? Senator Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to go over one of those things that you just stated, you said that you'd allow 50 people from the community to go?
We would love to see more people. This in the past has been the numbers that we've seen, so this is what we've allocated to the public. If we get 100+ people from the public, from the Veterans Center, people wanting to reconnect and figure out what we are doing, we would love to see that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Senator Dorn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are all students allowed to this event, or is it just ROTC?
So this is all students. We have a poster that's going to be made, hung out in public squares or in public places where anyone's invited, students, non-students. It's just open to everyone. We really want a community interaction event.
Thank you.
Okay. If there are no more questions, the RSO can go ahead and proceed. Thank you. Senator Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This question is directed at the RSO Funding Board Chair. With this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first year that this event's been funded by ASUW, or is this an annual? Annual? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Senator Mobley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to clarify in case this comes up as a question, because they noted that the catering was $27 per plate. Obviously, that doesn't fit into our $18 per plate finance policy, but the outside funding for their request, which will be a total of $3,285, will all go towards their catering costs, which will put them to $18 a plate and fit within our policy. I forgot to say that before, so I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that was what was happening.
Any more comments or discussion on this request? Seeing none, we'll now take a vote. So all those in favor of allocating $7,285
$20,267 in the mileage line item for an additional vehicle.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Senator Moore, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you might recognize the request from a couple weeks ago, which we did approve. They ended up having a few more people than they anticipated and wanted to see if they could amend their budget so that they could include those people on the trip. So for that, they would need an extra car, and so they added the mileage for that. Overall, the committee was comfortable with this allocation, but it did need to go to the Senate since it was overall over $3,500 still. So that's really it. If there's questions, I'm certainly
Any questions for the RSO, Senator Connor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't know if it was stated or not. I'll yield to either one. About how many extra people this trip's now able to take?
sorry, 6.
6 extra. So a total of 31 now, right?
I think it's a total of 24. We've had people come in and out. It's kind of been fluctuating, but roughly 24, 27, somewhere in that range is what we're at right now.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any more questions for the RSO? Go ahead, please. So with that, if there's any more discussion, comments, or questions on this request, Senator Connor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for the RSO Funding Board Chair, did you say vehicle and food, or just vehicle? Vehicle. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, so all those in favor of amending the previous request to add $1,267 for the Wildlife Society, please rise. Okay, all those opposed? And abstentions. With a vote of 23 to 0 to 0, this request has been amended. We are now done with RSO Funding Board requests. We'll move on to communications, beginning with Chief of Legislative Affairs Wolversland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have a lot. The only thing is, if you have any ideas for where our rain meeting will be this semester, please reach out to me, send me an email or anything. And I will look into those, but that'll be happening at after spring break, obviously. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So we'll now move on to my report. Just a few things. We are getting ready to head out to Houston. We leave Thursday morning, so we're just finishing up final planning things for that. As our special event talked about earlier, we're in the final stages, hopefully, of our Veteran Priority Registration Status project. And so we have another meeting tomorrow morning to hopefully hear from AVP Moore on any final developments that have been going on his side of things. And of course, we're hoping with a positive result for tonight's resolution. With that, we'll move on to Ex-Officio Reports, beginning with Penn Atlantic Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. First Year Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First Year Senate met earlier today. We had the first reading on the resolution up for first reading on the table and was steered by Diversity and Student Outreach Committee. And additionally, First Year Senate is hoping to get involved with the Sustainability Fair that Director of Sustainability and Wellness Savage is helping us coordinate and set up. And that will be on April 22nd. It's a Wednesday. It's Earth Day from 11 to 1 in the Park Center Dumpster, I believe. So we have a little sign-up sheet. If you want to sign up, that would be great. I'll pass it around. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Non-traditional Student Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had our February meeting last week, and we had several new people attend, which was really exciting. We're preparing for the annual Easter egg hunt in April. We will definitely need some help stuffing eggs and day of, so if anyone's looking for some service hours possibly, definitely we could use some. So if you have any questions, of course you can get a hold of me. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Residence halls. Oh, thank you. And Sustainability Coalition.
Thank you, Chair. We are campaigning for composting with the campus sustainability course. Utilizing special projects funding by establishing stewardship projects across campus, supporting Miami Council's adoption of ARE's carbon reduction plan, and planning Earth Day events. Additionally, we also have a waste day meeting on March
finally, United Multicultural Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. UMC met this Thursday at 4 p.m. in the HW conference room. As always, our doors are open to any senators who want to attend. We are continuing our collaboration with Spectrum to organize the Shepherd Symposium, which will be April 15th through 19th. The day-by-day schedule of workshops and program events is now available online at shepherdsymposium.org. It'd be great to see senators and USC members have been showing there. And then additionally, we're working on collaborating with Spectrum again for the drag show, which will be April 18th at 7 p.m. in the Union. We'll have posters and advertising out by next week. You can register for your events. So again, we're encouraging as much as I should be attending.
Thank you. We'll now move on to committee reports, beginning with steering. Steering met this past Friday. We did not have any pieces of legislation to make a recommendation on, but we did get one piece of legislation that will be up for first reading tonight, and we made, and we steered it. Advocacy, diversity, and policy. Budget plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. BNP did not meet this week, but we will be meeting on Tuesday of next week to go over the floor and ceiling of the reserves. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Program and institutional development. Any member of the committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met today, went over our assignments that we volunteered to do, and then we helped with the
Thank you. RSO funding board?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met yesterday. We allocated $500 to Data Outside for a competition. We also allocated $1,250 for the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. And then the 3 requests that you heard today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Student outreach and programming?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, obviously, Student Outreach Week is going on, so I really encourage you all to sign up. I emailed out the Google Doc link. So, be sure to sign up for that. We've had pretty good attendance for our events so far. Copies or comments went well, as well as Taco About It Tuesday. And thank you to Sid for helping us. So, be sure to volunteer. We need some spots, especially on Friday, like in the ERB atrium. We really appreciate that, as well as more people to come to Win Plus Win Day. So, we really appreciate volunteers. It's super fun. Again, it counts for a service hour. And if you need an excused absence, you can talk to people in the office. And so, yeah, I just really encourage you to do that. And all of your friends as well. We have a little comment box too that we designed in our meeting, and that's circulating throughout the week. We'd really like you all to sign up.
Thank you. So for the Cowboys Count Committee, a few new developments. We will start to be meeting weekly from this point on, just because the census is coming up so rapidly. We did do a little bit of planning for events that ASUW will be hosting in conjunction with some of our other campus partners that have really been working pretty close with us over the past several weeks. So we are starting, March 12th is the very first day that census data is going to be taken. And then April 1st is the official beginning of the census. That's Count Day. We'll be doing a big kickoff event outside of Pretzi's, hosting that kind of with a bunch of our partners, like I said, from across campus. We're going to be looking for a lot of volunteers from Senate to help us staff that. But we also have been coming up with some talking points that Chris Boswell and Director Campbell from our office have been working on. And so we'll be distributing those talking points to members of Senate, and then from there you'll have the opportunity to make drop-ins at FSL houses, different RSOs, classes, and we'll give you credits for service hours for those. So let me know if that's something you're interested in, and we'd love to get you connected. Elections Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you everybody who helped us with election outreach last week. Went pretty well. We will be meeting this week, tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the ASUW conference room to discuss a realignment request. In that is the $6,000, we'll be discussing the $6,000 for $415 gift cards to give out as voter outreach. So if you guys have any strong feelings about that, please feel free to reach out to me or feel free to come to the community. Along with that, election applications are open, so if you guys haven't filled yours out yet and you're considering running, you should go ahead and run. Senator Connor?
I had a question about your report when you're finished, I'm sorry.
Okay. On top of that, if you guys know anybody who would make a great ASUW senator, please ask them to run. Whether they're in RSOs, whether they're a friend in class. I know I've been pushing some people to try to run, so I really encourage you guys to as well. I will yield to Senator Connor.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair. I had a question about the realignment. Before you do anything about your realignment, you are going to come to BNP first, right?
Yes, we'll discuss it as a committee and then bring it to BNP.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
We'll then move on to college contact reports, beginning with agriculture and natural resources. Arts and sciences.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, no report.
Thank you. College of business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I held my office hours yesterday, and the RSO and College of Business leaders was also yesterday. And then tomorrow is, and Thursday, is the work local business session. So if you have any questions, come find me, and I can give you more details. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. College of education.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Similar to tonight, for our office hours, last Thursday,
Thank you. Engineering and applied sciences.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, no report.
Health sciences.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, no report.
College of law.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, no report.
And school of energy resources.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So our SER speaker series is still going strong. So Friday we will have the speaker from Bradon and the Canal Auditorium talking about rare earth element extraction and recovery of those. And then I don't know really where this fits, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. So sustainability fair. So Director of Sustainability and Wellness, Savage, and I have been working on that. So we plan to do it on Thursday. So it's April 22nd, and it's going to be from 11 to 1 p.m. And we're going to have live music, like pop bubbles, bunches of fun stuff, fruit. And then the whole point of it really is to take a lot of the stakeholders on campus, bring them together, and have kind of groups about sustainability and what a lot of people have done. So like efforts in the past, for instance, with Sustainability Coalition, we presented to DNR Club Monday. Just kind of what they've done, where their features, how to get involved, what we can do with students. And we're going to take a lot of different people from around campus, and if we get done to present a lot of different things. We have a wellness center too, smoothie bike, so it should be a good event for students. Get them aware about sustainability, earth in general, all that good stuff. So be sure to sign up on that kind of sheet as we'll be having more meetings and doing different groups and things like that. ASUW will have one. We're going to reach out to more people too. And you'll be Ex-Officios, be sure to contact us. We'll reach out to you. And we'll have like fun games, like, recycle as much as possible in the correct bins and, under 1 minute, and things like that, handing out reusable silverware and
Thank you. So being that there is no old business, we'll move straight on to new business. And so because this March 17th meeting is the Tuesday during spring break, I would entertain a motion to cancel it.
So moved.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor of canceling the March 17th ASUW Senate meeting, please rise. Please be seated. All those opposed? And abstentions. With a vote of 23 to 0, that meeting has been canceled. And we will now move on to Senate Resolution 2694, ASUW support for the changing of priority registration eligibility for student veterans and their dependents. Senator St. Marie, will you please proceed with the first reading?
Whereas the purpose of the Associate Students of the University of Wyoming ASUW student government is to serve our fellow students in the best manner possible, and whereas military and student veterans should be defined by their service to their country and not by the benefits they receive from the government, and whereas at the University of Wyoming student veterans currently lose their priority registration eligibility when said benefits run out, and whereas dependents of veterans that are attending the University of Wyoming because of their veteran benefits currently receive priority registration, and whereas losing priority registration is often discouraging for veteran students, therefore be resolved by the Associated Students of the University of Wyoming ASUW student government that it supports the changing of priority registration policy so that all military-connected students, including dependents utilizing veteran education benefits attending the University of Wyoming, will receive priority registration indefinitely, and therefore be it further resolved the Veteran Services shall be made responsible for creating and maintaining a list of military-connected students at the University of Wyoming that qualify for this policy, and therefore be it further resolved that the ASUW student government encourages the Associate Vice Provost for Enrollment Management to take immediate action to change this policy.
Thank you. This bill was dual-steered advocacy, diversity and policy, and program and institutional development. So please have your committee recommendations ready for next Tuesday, where this bill will be up for second and third readings. We will now move on to announcements. Are there any announcements this evening? Senator Rubano.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can let you all know the Criminal Justice Club is going to be having DEA agent David Tyree speak this Thursday. It's going to be at 5 o'clock in Business Room 21. It's a really exciting opportunity for us, and he's going to be talking about jobs and current employment
enjoy the rest of your night, Super Tuesday, but not only that, California is voting. So really a remarkable night for this country. Senator Milburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Who did California vote for?
The polls don't close for another hour,
Okay,
so
well, I heard Bernie has a
it'll be a late
so
night.
far.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Senator, ex-officio first resent.
I would also note that it literally takes California like 3 weeks to count.
It does. There's just we are so great that there are so many of us that want to live there that it takes a while to count all those people.
Virginia, 99% reported within 2 hours.
On path.
California,